Hello, and welcome to our workshop on research papers and theological essays for seminary students, facilitated by Ms. Liz Olawe on March 24th, 2026. Over the course of today's session, we'll guide you step by step through crafting a well-structured academic paper in Microsoft Word, applying Turabian citation style, formatting your document correctly, and avoiding common pitfalls. We'll begin by exploring the six-part architecture of a research paper, dive into crafting a strong thesis statement, use the Peel method for body paragraphs, configure core page setup, and master footnote and bibliography citations. Whether you're drafting your first term paper or refining your bibliography, this workshop will give you the tools to write, format, and cite with confidence. Let's get started. Now let's review our learning objectives. By the end of this session, you will be able to identify and apply the standard structure of an academic theological research paper, format a seminary paper according to Turabian or your institution's guidelines, properly integrate quoted material, paraphrases, and footnote citations, and build a complete paper from scratch in Microsoft Word with correct formatting. As we move through each of these goals, you'll gain hands-on experience setting up your document, crafting your argument, and managing citations. Keep these objectives in mind to track your progress and ensure you're fully prepared for your next research assignment. We'll revisit them as we progress to reinforce your understanding. Let's break down the six-part architecture of a seminary research paper. First, the title page is your cover, listing author, course, and date on a single page. Section 2. The introduction states your thesis and maps the argument in about 10 to 15% of the paper. Section 3, the literature review, surveys existing scholarship and typically spans 15 to 20%. Sections 4 and 5 are your body or argument, developing evidence and analysis across 50 to 60%, followed by the conclusion in 10 to 15%, which restates the thesis and discusses broader implications. Finally, the bibliography lists every source on separate page. Keeping these sections in balance ensures clarity and coherence in your theological essay. A strong thesis statement is the anchor of your paper. Unlike a mere topic, your thesis must assert a debatable claim. On the left, you see weak examples. This paper is about divine sovereignty, or the early church had many views on baptism. Those simply describe a subject. On the right, strong, arguable theses. For instance, Paul's teaching in Romans 9 supports a compatibilist view that preserves human moral responsibility. And the Didache shows baptismal mode was secondary to moral preparation in early Christian initiation rites. Craft your thesis as a clear, persuasive argument that your entire paper will defend. This clarity will guide your research and structure every section of your essay. Before you write a single sentence, configure your core page setup. Use US letter size, 8.5 by 11 inches, and set 1-inch margins on all sides. Choose Times New Roman, 12 point, and apply double spacing throughout, except in footnotes. Indent the first line of each paragraph by 0.5 inches using the Tab key or indent setting. Align text to the left, do not justify. Finally, insert page numbers in the top right corner, starting with page 1. Establishing these settings at the beginning ensures consistency and prevents formatting errors later. You'll save time and avoid rework by setting these preferences up front. Now, let's configure the core page setup every time you start a new seminary paper. Begin by selecting US letter size, 8.5 by 11 inches, and setting 1-inch margins on all 4 sides. Choose Times New Roman at 12 point and apply double spacing throughout your document, except within footnotes. Indent the first line of each paragraph by 0.5 inches using the Tab key or the indent setting. Keep all text left aligned, do not justify. Finally, insert page numbers in the top right corner, starting with page 1. These settings ensure a consistent, professional layout and help avoid formatting errors later. The headings hierarchy slide outlines Turabian's 4 levels of headings for papers longer than 5 pages. At the top, you'll see the main heading style, followed by 2 italicized subheading lines introducing the section. Below, 4 box sections illustrate each level. Level 1 is centered, bold, title case, with an example, Paul's Theology of Grace. Level 2 appears centered, bold italic, title case as Grace in the Letter to the Romans. Level 3 shifts to left alignment, bold title case with Romans 9 and predestination. Level 4 is left aligned, bold italic title case with historical background of the text. Use this hierarchy consistently to organize your argument. This slide, 3 ways to use source material, outlines direct quotation, paraphrase, and summary methods for incorporating research into your writing. First, direct quotation uses the author's exact words. The slide notes that quotations under 4 lines require quotation marks and a footnote, while longer passages become a block quote with a half-inch indent. Single-spaced, no quotes. Second, paraphrase restates ideas in your own words, but still requires a footnote, highlighted by a caution icon. Third, summary condenses larger arguments, and you'll provide a general footnote for the work or chapter. Each method ensures clear attribution and academic integrity. The Turabian footnote format slide demonstrates 4 key Chicago-style citation examples for seminary papers. It emphasizes footnotes instead of parenthetical references. The first box shows a single author book citation, 1 N.T. Wright, Paul and the Faithfulness of God, Minneapolis Fortress Press, 2013, 247. Next, a book chapter example from an edited volume. Third, a journal article citation in italics with volume and issue details. Finally, a subsequent citation for the same author, shortening the reference to Wright, Paul, and the Faithfulness of God, 312. Follow these formats to maintain consistency and professionalism in your footnotes. This guide walks through inserting footnotes in Microsoft Word in 6 clear steps. First, place your cursor immediately after a quote or paraphrase, but before the period. Second, go to the References tab on the ribbon. Third, click Insert Footnote, PC shortcut, Alt-Control-F, Mac, Command-Option-F. Fourth, Word automatically numbers the footnote and moves your cursor to the bottom of the page. Fifth, type your citation in the footnote area. Finally, click back in the document body to continue writing. Following these steps ensures accurate, auto-numbered footnotes every time. The slide Most Common Beginner Mistakes highlights 8 frequent errors and how to correct them. First, extra blank lines between paragraphs. Set paragraph spacing after to 0 and use double spacing only. Second, using APA citations instead of Turabian footnotes. Switch to footnotes under the References tab. Third, typing footnote numbers manually. Always use the Insert Footnote command. Fourth, block quotes that remain double-spaced. Format block quotes single-spaced with a half-inch left indent. Fifth, not indenting paragraphs. Set a first-line indent of half an inch. Sixth, justified text causing uneven gaps. Use left alignment. Seventh, forgetting to cite paraphrases. Add a footnote for every borrowed idea. Eighth, spacing issues on the title page. Use Enter to adjust space, not font size. Here's the pre-submission checklist to verify every requirement before handing in your paper. In 2 columns, it lists items with empty checkboxes. Confirm your title page includes all 6 required elements. You've used Times New Roman 12-point font throughout, and margins are 1 inch on all sides. Ensure the body text is double-spaced, each paragraph's first line indented half an inch, and your header displays your last name with an automatic page number. Check that there's no extra spacing between paragraphs. Quotation formatting follows Turabian rules. Every paraphrase and quote has a footnote, and your bibliography is on its own page with a hanging indent. Finally, save your document as a .docx file with a descriptive name. This concluding slide underscores a key takeaway with a centered quote. A well-formatted paper is a well-ordered argument. Every margin, every footnote, every heading signals to the reader that you are a careful thinker. The bold quotation mark icon and the navy and gold color blocks highlight this message. As you apply these formatting rules, remember that attention to detail communicates your scholarly rigor and thoughtfulness. Keep this principle in mind as you prepare your seminary research papers.